play, advertise, govern, and sponsor. The global football industry is put at an economic turnover estimated $28 billion yearly and contributes some $2,000 monthly dividend into the British economy. Wow. Some 2 billion people watched the final of the last World Cup in South Africa, and across the globe, some 265 million people play football professionally, and it remains one of the king sports, making the presidency of the Federation of International Football Association to be one of the most strategic non-state positions in the world. Football players are known to be some of the best paid and some of the most famous individuals across the world. So making it extremely difficult to talk to the boss of the World Football Governing Body without talking politics. My special guest today on Globewatch is the president of the Federation of International Football Association. Joseph Sepp, welcome to Globewatch.
Thank you, with pleasure.
Few days from now, the next World Cup begins in the competition's most honored nation, Brazil. How will you qualify a competition yet to start?
There will be an exceptional competition in Brazil because we are back in the country where really the football is played and has been played. The Brazilian football. It is a combination of carnival and samba. It is a talent and discipline. You remember when the former, not now, the Brazilian team, they entered the field of play. It was like a military exercise when they came in.
Absolutely.
And now the football has a little bit changed. Brazil has also changed, but Brazil is not a country. Brazil is a continent. It's a continent of 200 million people. 200 million people. They are expecting this World Cup, but there is a lot of criticism. But it's not only because we are in Brazil. It is a criticism on every big event in the world today, especially when it comes to sports event. Then there is a lot of whatever. It will not work. It is a kind of jealousy, I would say, or an envy of people. They don't like that the big events take place. And when now we go to Brazil, and I go backwards, when 7 years ago we were given this World Cup to Brazil, and the enthusiasm of the whole population at that time, and then if I read and have witnessed myself during the Confederations Cup some of this social unrest, then I say something has changed. We start in Brazil, this World Cup. I think the moment when the kickoff is made, then Brazil will be back in samba. Brazil will be back in the mood of the game, and there will be a lot of enthusiasm, I'm sure.
I'm glad you talked about criticism. You know, the build-up to the World Cup has been marred by controversies. Construction workers died. Stadium are yet to be delivered on time. Stories like that were recurrent. Why do you think there have been such delays and such problems?
Well, listen.
Before the football jamboree.
Listen, it's my 10th World Cup. My 10th. And I tell you, I haven't seen one World Cup that has not have problems in the construction or at the finishing of the stadia. This is the one part. And here in Brazil, let's say, we have been delayed, especially with the stadia in Sao Paulo. Because it's
where the opening match is expected to take place.
Yeah, it's the stadia of the opening match, and Sao Paulo is also the economic metropole of Brazil. Mm-hmm. And there was a very tragical incident, which was then finally an accident, by the construction of the last part of the construction for the tribune, for the big stand. Mm-hmm. And there was the system, a technical system that didn't work for a few centimeters. And would that have worked, then nothing would have happened, because then part of it fell down and killed one or even two, I don't remember exactly, workers. And this has created a big problem. The problem is now that they had to rebuild part of it, and there will be less seats now in this stadium because we had to have more construction. But concerning people dying in construction of a house, or it is also a question of bad luck, also a question of security, of securitization of these people. The last accident we have witnessed in Manaus, where one of the workers fell down and he died. He was not secured. He was not secured. Working at 12 meters, and he's not secured.
Okay, there has been somehow elements of carelessness in the entire business.
See, the other one in Sao Paulo, this was bad luck because they were just there where an element of construction was falling down.
Okay. Next, top officials of FIFA have made several trips to Brazil, including your Secretary General Jerome Walke. And Romario has been very critical. This is a legend of the football industry, the man who contributed so much in the success of Brazil during the 1994 World Cup. And this is what he has said about FIFA. The real president of our country is FIFA. FIFA comes here to our country and sets up a state within a state. Why does FIFA always comport as a supranational state in the world? You know the story which came from the Liberian Minister of Sports and Education at the time, Edmonia David Tape.
But you should ask Romario. I spoke with Romario. Romario is a frustrated man today. He's still a member of the parliament. That's why he has the parliamentary motion. And therefore we cannot attack. We wouldn't attack him anyway. We would not attack him. He's frustrated because he's not involved in the organization.
He recently granted an interview to BBC encouraging people to go to the streets during the World Cup. An interview granted to my colleague of Hard Talk on BBC, Stephen Sepp.
During the...
He has encouraged people to go on the street to protest during the World Cup. It's an interview granted recently to my colleague Hard Talk with Stephen Sepp on BBC.
Yeah, okay, but you know, he is a Brazilian.
Okay.
And he is living out of football. And you should ask this guy why he is against the World Cup in his country, when he has made all his career in football, when he was earning his life and still is earning his life through football, and he tries to destroy football.
Okay.
And go ask him.
I'll try my best to put that question to him. Let's talk about financing the World Cup now. And I go back to Romario, who believes that the money already spent to contribute to the success of the World Cup would have helped in the construction of 8,000 new schools in Brazil. 39,000 school buses were supposed to be bought, and 28,000 sports courts in the whole country. End of quotation. How much has FIFA and Brazil invested to have a memorable event?
Well, listen. If you are asking questions on finances and the FIFA organization concerning what we give to Brazil, what is Brazil doing, please consult fifas.com and ask the Secretary General or our finance director, Mr. Markus Kapner. I am the president of FIFA. And I am looking for the welfare of football all around the world. I'm looking for the welfare also of this organization, but I'm not going on a fight on finances or whatever some people are saying. This is not my duty. My duty is to defend the World Cup, and I just did it by the first declaration I made. And I will defend this World Cup until the end, until the final whistle blow by the referee on the 13th
of July.
On the 13th
Let's
of July
talk,
in the Maracanã.
I like the way you talk, Mr. President. Let's talk football and unity across the world. We are living in a world where there are so many problems. You and I, plus our audience, are aware of the racism in football, of the corruption scandals, of all other happenings that are within the football industry. With this discord-sowing events surrounding the football, do you still believe today that football is that galvanizing sport?
I am asking you why Globewatch will speak about football if you like to destroy football. I think this is not good. This is really not good. I am here to answer your questions, but you try to destroy football. I have asked any head of state, what is football doing today in this perturbed world where belligerent situations are everywhere, even now in Europe? Belligerent situations. What is football doing? Connecting people, giving these people emotions and hope. They play football. They play football in Syria. They play football in Afghanistan. They play football in Europe now, in the Ukraine. Everywhere football is played, bringing people together.
Maybe there should be a football match between Ukraine and Russia, and that can easily solve the problem. The way I understand from you.
I think there would be. There could be. Football has always brought people together. And you know, football is also an organization, or the whole football world is now not only on social, cultural part, is also a big economic factor in the world. And where there is a lot of money, there may be some misconducts by people. That's absolutely possible. But you cannot make FIFA responsible for all the bad in the world. And in our organization, we have now made a reform where we have exactly the ethics committee, the audit and compliance committee, we have the disciplinary committee, the board of appeal. They are totally independent. And now this has to go to the national associations as well. And then the system will work.
Okay, Mr. President, one but last question. Let me go personal now. Since 1975, if my statistics are correct, you have been working with FIFA. Your first top international known job was technical director before moving as Secretary General of FIFA, today President since 1998. Just name to me, plus my audience, 5 things you have done to promote football globally.
Well, first of all, I have to tell you that I was not technical director at the beginning. I was only development officer.
Okay.
And I'm still a development officer. So if you think 5 things I have made,
okay.
5 things.
Okay.
5 things. First of all, I have installed the financial assistance program that all national associations will have access to the income of the World Cup every year. In 4 years, $1 million. $1 million. Yeah.
Okay.
$1 million. That's the first one. The second one, it's the project number 1, where we have made that all national associations, they shall have a house of football, and then we have made 70 million win in Africa, where everybody in Africa received. We know what they have received? A field of play, at least one. Then what I have done, I brought the World Cup to Africa. Nobody else would have had the courage to bring the World Cup to Africa. And finally, and I said, nowadays, football is this element that can bring people emotions and hope. These are 5, okay. But I have 20 more.
Okay, because of time, your communication office already advising me to stop, but I want to take permission for you for extra 3 minutes because you are the president. And I asked you a question about women because it's important that we should talk about women in football. In 1995, you declared before the last question that the future of football is feminine. But when I look at the referees, everybody is a male during the World Cup and other sporting competition, European League, African League. It seems to me that with FIFA, Millennium Development Goal number 3 will never be achieved, that of empowerment of women and gender equality in football.
Oh,
what do you take on that?
Now you touch me in my heart. I started to develop women's football when I was challenged in '68 at the Congress of in Mexico. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, we have at least 30 million girls and women playing the game. Mm-hmm. We have organized different courses all around the world with refereeing, coaches. We play for the women under 17, under 20. We play a World Cup every 4 years. Mm-hmm. We are in the Olympic football tournament. The football, women's football, has specifically given to another culture, to the Muslim culture, to this woman, a kind of freedom, because when they, in some of the countries, they don't have all the rights that normally in a democratic country you should have in playing the game, they have this.
Okay.
And I think women's football should have been the number 6 when I was in number 5.
Okay, finally, your media team investigated me a lot before you finally accepted to talk to me. They called me, we conversed. While they were doing that, I was equally investigating you. And your opponents, like your friends, told me that you are very disciplined, that you are very transparent, that you are very democratic, that you like good governance. Do you confirm all those qualities of yours as told me by the few ones I interviewed?
Definitely, and you came to governance. I am the governor of football, and that's why I don't go into the details.
So you accept that all those qualities, you possess them?
If you say that, why should I say no? Okay,
good. Okay, I am a journalist in CRTV. Each month, I earn 219,000 francs EFA, that is $438. Can the world know the salary of a FIFA president?
I have not a salary because I am out of the age where you get the salary.
At 78, you no longer get the salary.
So I am only identified, and we have a special committee for compensation. If they want to do something, they will do it in transparency.
Okay, Mr. President, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. But before we separate,
but you earn a lot of money, huh?
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. I have a gift for you. Inside this bag is a book titled Redécouvrir Yaoundé. It's one of the finest books on the history of Cameroon's political capital.